Today we're gonna make a blueberry cobbler. It has a beautiful shortcake topping that kind of like absorbs some of the moisture and stays soft and tender and like also crispy on top, and it's just, oh, it's mind-blowingly good. If you're enjoying this video, be sure to hit subscribe below and click the bell icon so that you get notified every time I post a new and delicious recipe. Let's get into it. So the first step in making the blueberry cobbler is the shortcake on top. So I put a shortcake that's nice and tender and is delightful on its own, but I put that on top of all the blueberryness inside, and oof, girl, yes. So we're gonna do that. You can also use the topping from my apple crisp, which would also be delightful and easier, but not today. Okay, so it's actually quite simple to make. We are gonna put all of our dry ingredients into the bowl of a stand mixer. You can do this with a hand mixer as well. So that's AP flour, sugar, baking powder, kosher salt, and baking soda. And I am going to zest some clementines or tangerines or whatever you want to call them, mandarin oranges, into my mixture here because I want that flavor inside. So I'm going to do about one in this size batch, and then I'm going to eat the rest. Just kidding, we're going to juice it, but also eat. It's probably about a tablespoon of zest. It just has like a really nice sweet zest, just to kind of mix it up a little bit. So we've got all of our dry ingredients and our zest in the bowl stand mixer. We're going to fit that in there with the paddle. And I'm just going to give it one little kind of tour around to get the ingredients to kind of distribute. Not totally necessary. And then I've got my butter, which is cold and cubed. I just kind of cut along the tablespoon lines, so it doesn't have to be an actual cube. And then we're going to turn this on low, and we're going to let it completely work in. Yep, all the way in there. No visible pieces of butter. Your dry ingredients are going to look kind of like the flour is going to change color a little bit. It's going to be a little bit more butter colored, and there will be no chunks of butter. And we are going to do the last thing, which is very simple. I'm going to whisk together my wet ingredients. So I've got sour cream here in this bowl, and then I've got heavy cream. I'm just going to put those together, and then I'm going to whisk them. And that's it. And now we are super ready. We'll check back in. This is going to take a minute, so we should just, I don't know, do something else. Change the laundry or something. Okay, so our butter has completely worked in. It took about 15 minutes, to be honest. And that's fine. I've got my sour cream and heavy cream mixture here, and I'm going to put that all in at one time. Because as soon as you start to add moisture, then you're going to hydrate the gluten, and it's going to start to develop, and we want nice, tender shortcakes on top. So just go ahead and get all of this in at one time. And then we're going to turn that back on low, and let that mix in. It is not going to take that long, so we want to make sure that, you know, we watch it. No doing other things. This is not the time to wash the dishes. This is the time to watch your shortcake. So we are just going to let that work in. And I'm going to divide everything appropriately because this seems awfully dry. So you know. So sometimes, you know, different flours are, you know, they take different amounts of hydration. It also depends on the day. And so I'm just finding that my thing is a little dry here, so I'm just going to add a little bit of heavy cream. It comes together, it just is it feels a little dry, and we don't want that. We want it to be, you know, a nice moist dough, and it should come together in your mixer. So I'm just going to add heavy cream until it does. Just be careful. So I've added probably about let's call it 3 tablespoons, almost a quarter of a cup of heavy cream. So I have made this recipe a majillion times. I don't know what that number is, but it's a lot. And you know, sometimes these things happen. So our dough in here, it feels hydrated. It doesn't look dry, and we are ready to let it chill. So turn this side on a plastic wrap. Just go ahead and kind of put that on there, and then I like to press it out. You know, you're going to roll it out anyways, so you might as well make it easy for yourself later, and it'll chill faster this way. Honestly, now I don't even have to roll it. came here for lazy baking. Came to the right place. All right, so there's our dough. And we're just gonna wrap that up and we're gonna let that chill for about, 2 hours would be lovely. You can also freeze it and then, you can use it from the freezer as well. But we are going to chill it and we'll start kind of preheating our oven around about an hour and a half in, and then we'll make our filling. It is time to make our filling. So our shortcake has been chilling in the fridge for about 2 hours, and I've preheated my oven to 350 degrees, and I am ready to get this party started. So I've got blueberries here. They're not totally in season yet, so I'm using frozen blueberries. You can use fresh, you can use frozen, same recipe, no stress. So I've got my frozen blueberries here. They're not thawed. They could be thawed if you wanted them to be. And then we've got sugar. And then we've got our tangerine or mandarin orange that we zested earlier into our topping. And so we're just gonna pop that on there to catch any stray pulp or anything. And you can of course omit this if you'd like. This is totally optional. You can use orange or nothing, or all lemon. So then we've done that. And we are going to do about half a lemon, because I do like the zip of a lemon. I like that tartness, and obviously mandarin oranges and oranges are generally kind of sweet. So I do want the tartness from the lemon in here to balance out some of that sugar. So we're gonna start with half and see where that takes us. Because really it's all about the flavor of your blueberries and how sweet or tart they are. And so we just want to make sure that we are, working with them and not against them. So go ahead and give those a toss. And then we're going to try them. See what's up. A little weird because they're frozen, not gonna lie. That flavor is delightful. No adjustments necessary. If it's a little too sweet for your liking, you could put a little bit more lemon in there. You do you. So I always taste before I add my cornstarch, because for obvious reasons, cornstarch tastes terrible. About a tablespoon. Blueberries do have a natural amount of pectin in them, but this will help, especially with the frozen blueberries, because sometimes they leach more moisture. So I just want to kind of a little cheap insurance here. And then we're going to toss that together. If you don't have a cornstarch, you can totally omit it. Okay, so our filling has been prepared. Now, you could go crazy with this. You can do different shapes. You can do, whatever you want to do. That's what you should do here. I'm going to do little fluted ones in different sizes, because I kind of want like a little diversity in my the top, kind of like a little play on, kind of just different sizes. And I'm going to go ahead and put it directly on there. So I want to go ahead and pop my filling into my dish here. We've got our blueberries situation, and we are going to cut. And I'm just going to pop it directly on top. So these are about 1/2 inch thick. I like a nice thick shortcake on top. Also, it takes, a little time for it to cook, which is good, because your filling needs a little time to cook as well. I don't want them to be all up, completely covering. I do want some, separated bits. So here she is in all her roundness. And you know me, I like a crunchy sugared top. So today is no different. I'm gonna brush the tops of my shortcake with heavy cream here. Now you can bake these shortcakes straight from frozen, fun fact. And then we're gonna generously sprinkle. Generous. You could use a lemon-infused sugar to do this. That would be nice. So we are gonna bake this on a 1/2 sheet, and I'm gonna put a little parchment on there so that any blueberry that just decides it wants to escape, it is captured, and the bottom of my oven is not a big old mess. So without further ado, let's get this into the oven, preheated 350. and it's gonna bake like close to an hour. So we're really waiting for the shortcake to be done and golden brown and the filling to be bubbly and happy. So our cobbler is out. It baked about an hour, but that's only because my blueberries were still frozen, which they probably shouldn't have been, but no harm, no foul. So if you use fresh or if your blueberries are thawed, then it'll bake probably around 40 minutes. But you want to make sure it's nice and bubbly in the center and definitely bubbly around the outside. It will thicken as it cools a bit. Fresh blueberries will be thicker than the frozen ones. So now all we have to do is let it cool. I know, so sad. Or you just top it with a ton of vanilla bean ice cream and just say dig in. But we're not. We're classy today. Only today. It is time to try. Real talk, this hasn't cooled at all. But I'm impatient and daylight is dwindling, so here we are. So just know that it's gonna be soupy mess. It's gonna be a delicious soupy mess, but yours will be more pulled together than this, okay? Yeah, I know. Oh, but also like, yum. Am I right? What is patience? I don't know. Who is patience? You can also pre-cook your filling if you want it like super duper thick. You can like cook it in a pot and like thicken it a bit and then put it in there and put the shortcake on top and bake it until the shortcake is done. And then you'll have like a very, very thick filling, which if that's your jam, it's kind of like jam actually, then do that. Do you see how soft and delicate and tender the shortbread is or shortcake is? It's, oh my goodness gracious. Come on. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. There's like some crunchiness on the top from the sugar, and then the bottom has like absorbed the blueberry juices, and it's just super infused with blueberry flavor, and then you get the pop of the blueberries. Oh, to die for. You will be the center of attention at the barbecue that you bring this to. Just saying.